At the beginning of the movie, we see a messy room with book pages scattered everywhere. A girl named Alicia is pouring gasoline all over the place, preparing to burn everything. A woman, crying and begging her to stop, stands in front of her, but Alicia douses her in gasoline as well. Without hesitation, she lights a book on fire and throws it at the woman. Flames engulf her as she screams in agony, and the entire room catches fire. A computer in the room is also burning, yet its screen remains on, displaying a chilling message: she will be the one to die. The story then jumps 6 years forward. We are introduced to the main character, Angela, and her group of friends, all aspiring writers. They used to study together in college and now attend book club meetings where they discuss their own novels and analyze others. During one such meeting, they are engrossed in a particularly eerie book. An argument breaks out between Angela's boyfriend, Nando, and another friend, Sebas. Upset, Nando storms off, and she follows to check on him. He confesses that he doesn't like Sebas and demands that Angela end her friendship with him. Angela refuses, saying that both of them are equally important to her and that it is their personal matter, so she can't take sides. Later that night, Angela confides in Sebas about her frustration. She admits that she hasn't written a book in 6 years and is starting to feel like she is not a writer anymore. Sebas reassures her not to worry and tells her that if she ever needs help with writing, he will fully support her. Back in her room, she considers writing an email to her professor, asking for help in finding a new story idea. She types the message but hesitates and decides not to send it. Her mind drifts back to a book Sebas had mentioned, Killer Clown. The story was about an ordinary man who became a clown due to a rare disease. Whenever the illness took control, he lost his sanity, donned a clown mask and suit, and murdered people mercilessly. The thought unsettles Angela, and she quickly shuts her laptop. The next day, in class, the professor discusses common mistakes in horror writing. He explains that many writers copy existing stories, altering them slightly instead of creating something original, and that to be a great writer, one must tell their own story. Angela, who had been contemplating using someone else's idea, is deep in thought. After class, the professor calls Angela to his office. When she arrives, he tells her that he received her email. Confused, she begins to think about whether she had sent it and forgotten. As they talk, the professor reveals that his life is not going well and that he is going through a divorce. Angela shares her own troubles and tells him that she needs his help to complete her story. Suddenly, the professor locks the door and approaches her in a disturbing manner. He says that he received another email later. As he inches closer, his behavior turns inappropriate. Angela, furious, kicks him away and demands that he open the door immediately, warning that she will scream if he doesn't. Reluctantly, the professor unlocks the door but also threatens her, saying that if she tells anyone, he will ruin her. Shaken and angry, Angela confides in her friends. Though she doesn't report the incident, her friends are outraged and vow to take revenge. Determined to teach him a lesson, they all put on clown masks and track down the professor. When they finally corner him, he panics and starts running. But suddenly, a stranger, also wearing a clown mask, appears. Holding a hammer with a sharp edge, he swings it at the professor's head. Wounded, the professor stumbles and rushes upstairs in a desperate attempt to escape. Angela was there, and the professor, terrified, ran in a panic. In the chaos, his foot slipped, and he fell. A sharp pole was positioned there, and as he landed, it pierced straight through his body. He died on the spot. Moments later, everyone arrived at the scene. Seeing the gruesome sight, they immediately assumed Angela had killed him. But she broke into tears, insisting that she hadn't. She pointed out that when he reached the top, his head was already bleeding, meaning someone had attacked him downstairs before he fell. Realizing the severity of the situation, the group decided to keep it a secret. Whatever happened, they wouldn't tell anyone. But Angela disagreed and wanted to call the police, saying that someone else had attacked the professor. The others convinced her that doing so would only create bigger problems. In the end, they all burned their clown masks and vowed never to speak of this incident again. In the following days, the professor's death was assumed to be a suicide. Life returned to normal, but Angela couldn't shake the guilt. She blamed herself for what had happened and remained deeply troubled. Then, something strange happened. Someone sent them the first chapter of a novel titled The Death of the Professor. Reading it left them all in shock. They began to suspect that one of them was responsible for this, as no one else knew the truth. Fear crept in, and their trust in each other started to crumble. Later, Sebas informed Angela that the second chapter of the novel had been published. When she read it, the horror intensified. The story described the mad clown murdering one of their friend, Virginia. Disturbed by this, Angela and Sebas rushed to the location mentioned in the book. Their friend wasn't there, but they found a chilling message left by the clown, to be continued. Soon after, another friend, Sarah, approached them, claiming to have figured out the identity of the clown. They all gathered at college, where she revealed that the clown was someone from their own campus. He knew them personally, understood how to instill fear, and had chosen them as the characters for his twisted story. Whoever this person was, he was obsessed with horror. They needed to track him down, so they decided to search the internet and the college records for anyone with a strong interest in horror. The next day, their search led to an unsettling discovery. Aside from them, no one else had a significant interest in horror. This meant that the clown could very well be one of them. According to their plan, they headed to the library. When Angela was alone, she suddenly received a message from the clown. "I'm watching you." As she read it, she spotted him standing nearby, pointing directly at her. Fear surged through her, and she bolted. In her frantic escape, she collided with her boyfriend, Nando. At that exact moment, the others arrived. What shook them was that Nando hadn't been informed about their plan, yet he was there. Suspicion immediately fell on him. That night, the group went to a club owned by Angela's boyfriend. Everything seemed normal until Seba's friend, Rai, stepped outside. The clown was waiting there. But instead of showing fear, Rai charged at him and started attacking. A struggle broke out, and when he finally ripped off the clown's mask, he recognized the face beneath it. Stunned, he asked how he had come here. Without a word, the clown suddenly struck, stabbing him in the stomach. Blood gushed from his wound and poured from his mouth. He collapsed to the ground, dead on the spot. Angela received the third chapter of the novel from the clown. In it, he revealed that he had killed Rai. Panic spread through the group as they gathered once again, suspicion turning them against each other. They set out to find their friend's body, but instead, they discovered another chilling message left by the clown, to be continued. Sebas then told Angela that he had traced the clown's messaging ID online and found a connection to a girl named Alicia, the same girl who had burned the bookshelf at the start. Hearing the name, Angela froze. She revealed that the novel she had written was based on Alicia's real-life story. Alicia's mother had been obsessed with stories and would force her daughter to narrate them. If Alicia refused, her mother would beat her. Eventually, Alicia had enough and set fire to her bookshelf. But the horror didn't stop there. That crazy girl had gone on to burn her own mother alive, killing her. Angela then realized that the person crying at the beginning of the story wasn't Alicia, it was her mother. She admitted that she had liked Alicia's story and, struggling for inspiration, had used it as the basis for her novel. The book became a massive success, but Alicia wasn't happy about it. Furious that her tragic life had been turned into entertainment, she reached out to Angela, vowing revenge. Angela had apologized, begged her not to do anything, but Alicia had only responded with a chilling promise. "One day, I'll write a story that will truly hurt you. That's when I'll find peace." Sebas put the pieces together. It meant Alicia was the clown. But there was a problem. Alicia was supposed to be dead. She had burned herself alive after killing her mother. Angela was overcome with guilt, blaming herself for everything that was happening. Sebas pulled her into a reassuring hug and, in that moment, confessed his deepest secret: he loved her. Meanwhile, the clown was chasing Nando. Desperate to escape, he found a hiding spot, but the clown was relentless. Seizing an opportunity, Nando attacked and kicked the clown down, believing he had knocked him out. He cautiously approached and started to remove the mask, but just as his fingers brushed against it, the clown sprang up and swung his hammer, knocking him unconscious. This time, however, the clown didn't kill him. Meanwhile, Angela gets intimate with Sebas, cheating on her boyfriend. Later, Angela received a horrifying video message from her friend. He looked terrified as he explained that the clown had sent him an invitation, a message stating that he was going to publish the novel as a book. To mark the occasion, he had arranged a special function and demanded that they all attend wearing his clown costume. With no choice but to confront him, they all arrived at the function. But as soon as they got there, Angela received another message. This time, it was a live video of themselves. The clown was watching them. He had been keeping an eye on them the entire time. Determined to put an end to this nightmare, the group devised a plan to split up and find the clown. But in doing so, they caused chaos, drawing the attention of the event's security team. One of their friends, in a panic, ran and hid in a secluded spot. But she wasn't alone. The clown appeared from the shadows. She gasped in fear and tried to flee, but he was faster. In one swift motion, he drove his hammer into her back. She collapsed, dying a brutal and merciless death. When the others finally found her, they saw her lifeless body sinking into the water. But the horror wasn't over. The friend who had recorded the earlier video staggered toward them, barely conscious. They rushed to him, pulled off his mask. His throat had been slashed open. Blood poured from the wound as he gasped for breath. Before their eyes, he bled out and died a horrible death. One of Angela's friends was found holding the clown's hammer, making everyone suspect that she was the killer. She denied it, but the tension was too much for Angela. She fainted. When she woke up, her friend showed her a video. The clown had kidnapped and tied up Sebas. Angela rushed to the location to save him, only to find Sarah, the friend they had been doubting, injured and dying. With her last breath, she told Angela, "I'm not the clown." Then she died. Angela pushed forward and finally found Sebas. She untied him, but just then, her boyfriend appeared with shocking news. Sebas was the clown. He had orchestrated everything because he was obsessed with Angela and wanted her for himself. Before Angela could react, Sebas woke up, grabbed his hammer, and struck her boyfriend in the stomach, leaving him critically injured. He then turned to Angela, holding up the hammer menacingly, and confessed everything. He's the one who emailed the professor from Angela's laptop. He's the clown. Sebas wasn't just a writer. He was a madman who turned his twisted stories into reality, killing anyone who stood in his way. As he got closer to Angela, she saw an opening. She grabbed a pen and stabbed it straight into his neck, the tip piercing through his mouth. Sebas howled in pain, giving Angela the chance to escape. But before she could get far, another figure appeared, dressed as a clown. This person held a hammer and smirked. "I'm Alicia. I didn't die. I survived." She then took off her mask, revealing herself as Virginia, the first victim. She exposed the shocking truth. She and Sebas had orchestrated everything from the start. She laughed, saying that she and Sebas had even planned to turn it into a movie and make a fortune. As Alicia gloated, Angela noticed her boyfriend, still alive, standing behind her. Taking the opportunity, Angela distracted Alicia while her friend shoved Sebas off the ledge. Sebas fell onto a sharp metal spike, which impaled his head and killed him instantly. Seeing Sebas die, Alicia snapped. She attacked Nando with her hammer, injuring him even further. Angela took off, running for her life. Alicia chased her, cornering her in the basement. But Angela acted fast. She threw the main power switch, causing a short circuit. Fire erupted, engulfing Alicia in flames. She screamed as the fire consumed her. A while later, the police arrived. They rescued Angela and her boyfriend, who was barely alive, but they had survived. It was finally over. 1 year later, a new group of students sat in a writing class, eagerly taking notes. Among them sat Alicia and Nando. As she left the classroom, she suddenly stopped. A clown stood in front of her, gripping a hammer. Slowly, the clown removed the mask. It was Alicia. She had escaped once again. Now, she was coming for Angela. Angela screamed, and the film ended on this chilling note.